Heaven Night iTube, it's Abla. So I was just walking and I decided let me make a video. I haven't made a video in a while and I just have been having different experiences and I want to talk about different things that have been coming to mind. My phone is literally in a tree right now, so I hope it stays. But yeah, I hope everyone has been having a blissful day, and this video is really just about, I don't know, is it about growing up or is it about life? Like the question that came to mind and these questions that I've been being asked as I encounter different people and meeting different persons. Like people meet you and they're like, so like, what do you do? Like they want to know who you are in terms of what you do. And obviously I don't work any formal job in the system. If I were to have any type of work, it's obviously within my family, being a wife, a mother, a sister. But that's not really an acceptable answer for what you do. You know, people want to know who you are based upon your work, so to speak. And I know, and in reality, we all know, being a wife, mother, sister, these things, that is our work. Not in a worldly way like a job, but that is our work. We know that. But I think coming out of the world, we get into this thing, even me myself, I get into this thing, and other persons get into this thing of labels based upon jobs. You know, since you're small, people ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up? When God already made you what you need to be, everything you need to be. You don't need to be something when you grow up. I hope the wind is not interfering with this, but what do you want to be when you grow up? What job do you want to have? That's basically what that means, right? You want to be a doctor? Do you want to be a teacher? Do you want to be a school bus driver, a plumber, a nurse, an author, all of these things. So I've been encountering and meeting different people that want to know who I am based upon this idea of a job. They want to know what I do. And that question, I always answer that question like, what do you mean, what do I do? I just am. I exist. That's what I do. I exist. I am. And what I want to be is a good person. I want to be a good community member, a good family member. I want to embody what the Most High has for me. I want to accept that. I want to surrender to that. That's what I want to be when I grow up. Coming out of the world, and this is a lot for me to say, because coming out of the world and coming from the family that I come from, I was very much so programmed into that. What do you want to be when you grow up? You want to be a doctor, an engineer, a lawyer? Pick one of those. One of those things. And there was very much so a focus on academics, you know, worldly academics, school, those types of things, professionalism, a focus on those things. And my mind was heavily programmed by that. Even to this day, I might have issues like thinking about those things and thinking, wait, I'm not doing anything because I don't have a PhD. What am I doing without a PhD? But then I like snap back to reality, like, wait, that's not real. Obviously knowledge and learning, continuous learning is important always, but we don't need these fake worldly degrees and their school and their jobs and their 9 to 5 and their money and all those things. We don't have to chase after those things. Our purpose in life is not to get a job and chase after money. That is not our purpose in life. So the point of me saying this is that I come from a space where it was programmed into me that that is my purpose. I need to get a job to get money. And so in school, I was obviously very like driven in academics. I didn't have an issue with school, doing academics. If I really wanted to, I could have been in the world. If I really, really wanted to, which I don't, and I don't need to, I could have been a doctor. I could have been an engineer. I could have, if I really, really put my mind to it, I could have done any of those worldly jobs that people deem to be successful. I could have done anything that I wanted in the world, to be honest. So coming from that space, knowing that I could have done anything in the world, and I mean anything, honestly, I had doors, worldly doors, open to me by the opposition of the Most High, honestly. I had those doors open to me easily and simply. Coming from that space and making a decision to live within reality and to live in my purpose that the Most High has for me as a female, as a Black female, as an African female, an indigenous female, coming from that space and making a choice to live within reality. When people ask me, like, what do you do? It's funny, and I'm like, I just exist. Like, I just exist. Because how many people do you know that are authors? How many people are, they have a podcast? How many people are doctors, lawyers? How many people are whatever, I don't know, plumbers? All these different jobs. Even the most successful, how many, what is that, aerospace engineers are there with a bad heart? How many teachers, even teachers, are there with a bad heart in the world? Because the world causes you to have so much anger and pain, and there's so much suffering in the world. So all of these things we become in the world are fake. That's not what we need to do. That's not what you need to do when you grow up. That's not what's important, okay? What's important is what's in our heart, like building community and fostering love and safety, safe relationships, love-centered and orderly relationships. That's what we need to focus on. I don't need to worry about my PhD. You don't need to worry about your PhD. We don't need to worry about these things about money, because like I said, how many people with so much money are there and they have a bad heart and they're stressed, they have depression, anxiety. You know, those things are like running rampant in the world right now. Depression and anxiety in my so-called generation, from the age of 10, I've been around my peers with depression and anxiety at such a young age, because of the way the world has been moving in the last 20 years. When I was growing up, the way the world has been going, it's just to create mindless people, to create people that are not real people. People are just a collection of their experiences, a collection of things they see on TV, things they see in real life, things they see on TikTok, things they see, just things they see on the outside, and they don't have anything that comes from themselves, from their soul, from their heart, from their true essence. Not a lot of people know who they are in their true essence. I can tell you, I know who I am. From a small girl, I know who I am, what I am, how I am, my own essence. And I also know the things that I picked up in my environment. And it's important to know that, because many people are owning the things that they've picked up from their environment. They do not know their true essence. They only know the things that they've witnessed and picked up, the different behaviors, good or bad, the things they like or dislike that have been programmed into them. They are all programming, 100% programming. When I've been growing up, let's say these past 20 years, people have been, it's like a designer population. The forces that be have created this kind of designer population. You know how people talk about designer babies? It's like a whole population, because they program these persons to be 100% programming. I can talk about myself. I would say, yeah, I still have some programming, but I'm definitely not 100% programming, because I know my true essence, and I know that at this point, I would say I'm 80% me and 20 to 15% remnant from the world of programming, even things I see and like. And I'm still moving through the world, so there's so much suggestive programming that I can see and be like, oh wait, I want to change my hair, I want to cut my hair, I want to do this, I want to do that. And that's not me. That's the programming that's coming into me. So the point of me saying all this is when I experience persons asking me like, so what do you do? Like, who are you? They don't ask who I am. If they ask me who I am, I could tell them that. But when they say, what do you do, per se? I'm like, what do you mean? I am. I simply am. Aren't you? I don't have to do anything. I can write. I can read 1,000 books. I'm sure I've read 1,000 books in my in my life so far. I was very into reading and writing when I was younger. I still am young. I was very into this reading and writing of English at a time, so I'm sure I've read 1,000 books already. I don't need to read 1,000 more. But if I do, that still isn't a part of my character per se. You know, when people say, what do you do? It's this programming of wanting to do so much, this job programming, this work for the system programming, this job equals worth programming. So when they ask me, what do you do? I'm really like, what do you mean? I am. I just exist. I am. And I try to be a good person. And that's what's really important, to teach the future generations, that you don't need to ask them, what do you want to be when you grow up? We need to teach them emotional intelligence, intelligence of reality, like not worldly academics, but they need to be intelligent within reality, within nature. Cows and lions and sheep and pigs, they don't look at each other and say, what do you do? They're like, what do you mean? God gave us what to do. We know what to do. It's written in our hearts, like in our blood, in our DNA. What do you mean, what do I do? Look at me. Like, that's not even a question to the beings that are more one with nature, like the ants. Ants don't ask each other, what do you do? Dolphins, these more intelligent, you might think they're more intelligent than a cow, like dolphins, don't ask each other, what do you do? Things like that, because they don't worry about things like jobs. We're so focused on having jobs because we're focused and looking for a purpose. People become these things. Yes, it is helping society and like doing some type of work, but they're searching for a purpose because inside they're truly empty. When you feel empty inside, you try to fill yourself with these outside things, these hobbies. How do people really feel when they don't have their hobbies? How do people feel when all they have is to sit with themselves and the Most High? Sit with their mirrors, sit with their ugliness, sit with their goodness, sit with the light and the darkness. Like, how do people feel when it's just that? Because that's what reality is. That's what nature is. Like, when you think about native tribes that are still living in their way, that's how they live. Of course they have work. They do work that you need to do to survive. But they're not obsessed with this idea of what do you do? Because, like I said, you don't have to think about that. Our purpose is given to us by the Most High. It's not something to think about. I hope this is understood. Like, I feel like I'm kind of rambling, but I hope this is understood by who needs to understand it. Our focus needs to be on rebuilding our ability to have human connection, our ability to resolve conflict, our ability to build communities, to love one another, to heal the pain from the world, all the disgusting things we went through or seen, or the ways we grew up in family, heal our familial bonds in our new earth and from our old experiences, build better things. That's what we need to be doing, is building better relationships, building better communities, building better things. Like, it needs to be out with the old, out with this asking our children, what do you want to be when you grow up? And teaching them how to be good people. I don't know how else to say it. How to be good humans. We're humans, so to speak, human beings. How to be a good human being. Unfortunately, we have to be taught that. Like I said, the beings more in tune with nature, like say a lion or a dolphin, you don't need to teach a baby dolphin how to be a good dolphin, so to speak. And these beings in nature are not perfect either, because there's been a fall from grace, obviously. So I'm not saying they're perfect, but the way we do things, we spend our whole lives growing up and turning into adults, figuring out how to do everything but be what we are. It's like you're programmed into being something else, some type of robotic entity. We want to put children into boxes, shape their minds into this way that is outside of their nature. From the time we're born, we're just made to do everything outside of our nature. That's what we're grown into. Put on this conveyor belt to become these, like I said, this designer population that is just 100% programming. because that's what's easy to control. When you have a population that is just fully programmed and doesn't think for themselves, that's what's easy to control. When what someone is, what they do, what their purpose is, has been given to them from an outside force, then of course you can control them. When your purpose and what you are has been given to you by the Most High, you cannot be controlled by anything else. Like I said, I had these doors open to me to be in the world, to be anything. Job, if I put my mind to it, I could have had it. But that isn't what the Most High made me to be. And it isn't what the Most High made anyone to be, honestly. And what we need to do is just exist in reality. Just be and surrender to reality. We don't need to be obsessed with the things of the world and what the world made us think we need to do or be, or how we need to do things, when we need to do things. Of course, there's order, and we can be in that order of reality. We don't need to be in that fake system, programming and timing from the world. So yeah, that's just what's been coming to mind. Like, I do a lot of things. As a human being, God didn't put me on this earth, or anyone on this earth, to pick up a job and chase money in a system that the Most High did not create. The Most High did not create the system. You know what I'm talking about, the system. The Most High did not create that. That is opposition. So I have no business being a part of that. That's not what I do. What I do is strive to heal from that and be a human being in reality and express myself in a way that is true to reality, and even get rid of so much individualism and so much self, so much me, what do I do, and grow into oneness with just what is. So yeah, and like I said, that's what we need to be teaching our children, and get out of this, what do you want to be when you grow up? Because that question is still ringing in my mind today. We need to heal from what we experience in the world. We really do. So yeah, that's what I do. I do my best to exist as I was made to exist, and do my best to tread lightly. And this is a reminder to myself, because I'm not always perfect. So do my best to tread lightly and surrender to the Most High's will, and not talk so much. Yeah. That's what I do. It's like I said, all those other things, those things are not going to matter when all is said and done. You know, when you look at, I don't want to talk about death, but when you look at grave sites, it says loving mother, sister, wife. It doesn't say loving surgeon. It doesn't say loving receptionist. Okay, these things don't matter. I know persons take pride in their job because it brings them money. That's why. Because people are chasing money, and we were made to chase money. And that's fine. I'm healing from that. We're all coming out of that. We just need to learn from that, and learn that what's important is what's in our hearts and our minds, and cleansing ourselves and washing ourselves of the world. That's what we need to be doing. That's the work we need to do. So if you ask me what I do, that's what I'm doing, and that's what I'm working on.